All right, good morning, folks. Today is September 5th, 2025. This is Coffee with Community Services, Alta California Regional Center's weekly service provider meeting. My name is John Decker, the Director of Community Services. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a number of things on our agenda, but we'll get into introductions of our staff first. So I see good morning to Odelia and our lead Jason from Community Services, as well as their manager Michelle. I see Boyd and Tom and Carly and Jessica from Community Services too. Good morning. From Client Services, we have Toby Golden. Good morning, one of our Client Services managers. Additionally, from Community Services, we have Beverly and Shauna and Brandy and Kylie and Rhonda as well. Good morning to Ethan from Community Services, who we have on. We've also got Hubert on and Michael Mercado, who you'll be hearing from shortly. Additionally, from Community Services, we've got Chris on. Good morning, and Christy Schaefer and Virginia. We have our QA and compliance manager, Scott, on this morning, and our specialized services and supports manager, Jordan. Good morning to Monet and Jolana and Alejandra as well from Community Services, and our Associate Client Services Director, Tracy Brown, as well. Good morning, folks. For our agenda for today, we are going to have our Deaf Culture 101 and Sign of the Week with Michael. We have some updated information about payments for quality incentives. We have updates on Workforce Initiative office hours. We're going to do a big update on rate reform because the department just put out information about that. We're going to talk about the LOIS, the LOIS, LOIS vendor specific meetings that are coming up with the Department of Developmental Services. We have an emergency preparedness fair that Hubert's going to be sharing about. We're going to discuss the expansion of the DSP collaborative. Jay is going to present about the STEP roommate mixer, and we'll actually do that right after Michael in the beginning, Jay. And then we also have some updates about an upcoming activity race up in El Dorado Hills, too. If there's additional things that folks are interested in talking about, you're welcome to put your information in the chat. But for now, I'm going to throw it over to Michael Mercado.
All right, good morning. All right, are we ready for our signs of the week? So 2 weeks ago, we continued with emotions. Last time we talked about happy emotions. Today we're going to focus on the sad feelings, those sad emotions. So we will have the sign for sad, depressed, and cry. All right, if we're ready, the first one is sad. So you want to make sure you have the expression on your face as well. Our second is depressed. So you're going to put those middle fingers down at the top of your chest and then drag down. So that's depressed. And then our third is cry. So you'll have those L hands and then going down the face. All right, we'll do those again. So we have sad, depressed, and cry. All right, good job, everyone. So you'll notice the emotions, these ones all go down. So it's showing that sad emotion. And then the happy emotions are going up, like you're excited. So our next Coffee with Community Services will focus on another emotion. Okay, for Deaf Culture 101, we're going to talk about Deaf Awareness Month, which is actually the month of September. So we are currently in Deaf Awareness Month. Very exciting for me to be able to share and talk about this. So why is Deaf Awareness Month so important? If you think about the word deaf, what does that word mean? If you ask the general population, what is the definition of the word deaf? they might immediately answer, oh, to not be able to hear or hearing loss. That's a pretty automatic response. But really, in the deaf community and in deaf culture, the word deaf means something completely different. Deaf is about language, pride, community, and identity. It's a completely different perspective than those who are hearing. Deaf gain can be seen in many different examples. For example, sharing sign language and culture, having that pride and that strong connection with your community. Deaf community is fantastic with storytelling using sign language, and it's so visual, and you feel that real strong connection. So the deaf community really brings new ideas to the world. One really good example is there's something called Deaf Night Out. So this is a social event where deaf people will get together. Sometimes it's once a month. It'll vary depending on the location. Um, but that Deaf Night Out is where we don't say, oh, this is a gathering of people who can't hear or people who have hearing loss. That isn't what it is. We're gathering together to be united in that language and communication and to be able to really enjoy that association and not focus on a hearing loss or not being able to hear. It's about having a language and a culture where you can feel proud to have that connection with someone. So, Deaf Awareness Month is the whole month of September. So, you might see on social media or really anywhere, you'll see different comments about Deaf Awareness Month. Sometimes there'll be a variety of topics. They'll focus on children and their language, deaf history, talking about different lived experiences. The last week of September is actually called International Week of the Deaf. So this focuses on worldwide, different sign languages across different countries about rights, access to language, language recognition, and many different things. So that we will also discuss later on. So Deaf Awareness Month is really a celebration of unity, and it shows our voice and our leadership. So in schools, workplaces, and being able to even social media, making sure we have access in all these different areas for deaf and hard of hearing individuals. Ever since you started learning sign language, you can celebrate this. When you meet a deaf person and you start to sign, we feel so happy to see people trying. It feels good to see those signing, even just like, oh, happy or good morning or a holiday, maybe happy St. Patrick's Day. Seeing different people approach us and sign is really a lovely thing. So, deaf awareness, that word deaf is viewed as a language and a culture and something to be proud of, and making sure everyone feels that gain. So, I want to challenge you all to see how you could be involved in Deaf Awareness Month. We do still have one event coming up. So that's the NorCal Services for Deaf and Hard of Hearing. They're hosting a Deaf Awareness Month event at the zoo in Sacramento. So I really encourage you to go and see what they have there. There's going to be interpreters provided, face painting, and different things that are all accessible for deaf and hard of hearing individuals. So I encourage you to go and take a look. I'll share a link, and I'll show you that as well. Okay, think it's up. Yep, so that was the flyer. So, and then I'll share a link to you all as well. And hopefully you'll be able to attend. I wish I could That's next Saturday. I have a conference next Saturday that I'm attending, but I encourage you all to go ahead and try to go to the zoo and see some more about Deaf Awareness Month. And you can bring family, friends, you could bring consumers, anyone you want. Um, you can register through that link and purchase tickets there. So now I wanted to talk about the new service code, the ASL training and support. So this is available. It's open and ready for any who are interested to go ahead and do that letter of interest, the LOI. So once you fill that out, you can submit it by email. I will also put a link to instructions on how to do that LOI. We have had one interested submission. If there's anyone else who is interested, we have that opportunity available now. Thank you so much.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much. All right. I am now going to share my screen and let's see. I'm going to share that. There we go. Let's see, Jay, are we seeing your flyer?
That is our flyer. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for taking time to have us. I'm going to pass it over to Joseph Hale, who's one of our First Step Housing staff, in just 1 minute. But I just wanted to do a quick little reach out about First Step Housing Access. We are fully staffed and we actually are open to referrals right now, which has been the first time, I think, since we opened that we have actually had openings. So we've been doing an amazing job. We've housed over 300 people, including families, and we're open for more people to come in. I'm going to pass it over to Joseph. Joseph, last year we had a First Step Housing mixer with roommates, and we were able to, I believe, match 12 people, which is not bad. This year we're hoping to have a much bigger crowd, and so we moved it over to our main building so that we have a lot of room. And Joseph has planned a lot of different cool activities, so I'm going to pass it to him now.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Like Jay said, my name is Joseph. I'm a housing specialist here with Steps First Step Housing. Thank you for making some time to see me today. I just wanted to share the upcoming event. As you see on the flyer, it's Thursday, October 16th from 1 to 5 p.m. It's going to be located here at the main step office at 2330 Glendale Lane, Sacramento, California, 95825. So we know that the rent prices are getting higher and higher, and it's getting harder and harder for people to maintain stable housing on their own. And so with this event, we're trying to get people to get together to explore different ways of maintaining rent, looking for roommates or different housing opportunities. It's not just about housing, though. We want to build connections with people. We'll have snacks, music, icebreakers, board games, and a creative station where you can build an ideal room collage. The idea is to make an environment where everyone's relaxed and can have fun so that people can get to know each other naturally. We want people just not to leave with potential roommates, but also with new friends. If you know anyone who's interested in joining, or if you would like to join yourself, please RSVP or by calling or texting at 916-516-4503. The number is also found on the flyer there. We'd love to see as many community members as possible. It's going to be a supportive, positive place and a step towards making housing more affordable through collaboration. So please feel free to share the flyer with anyone that you know that might need some help with maintaining housing. Just remember that we do ask that you RSVP prior to the date, though, so that way we can prepare for how many people are going to be there. And thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And again, that flyer is in the chat for anyone that wants it. We've had some, additional folks that have joined us since we did our introductions earlier. Super happy to see that Dan Kilmer has joined us, since he was instrumental in getting housing access services off the ground, working with Jay and the team over at STEP to do the program design, to develop the rates, and to hear about 300 people being housed, Dan. That's pretty impressive in just the few short years. I know, Rhonda's been certainly very involved in supporting this. I heard last year's mixer was fantastic. And so I really want to encourage people to utilize this. This being at the main office, is there going to be some ASL interpreters maybe available or
Actually,
folks that can
I meant
communicate?
to say that, yes, we will have interpreters there for deaf individuals that want to meet. We have a large group, so bring everybody. We want everybody to be a part of the group and everybody have access and everybody have an ability to have fun. So please bring everyone.
And sorry, just wanted to throw this out there.
Please.
Bring your conservators. If you have conservators or support staff with you, bring those members too, so that way they can help out with the different activities.
Again, many of you are aware that housing is one of our strategic plan goals for our regional center. It's a big priority of our board. A few years ago, the STEP agency really embraced trying to help support individuals find housing. For us, it was a little bit of a different thing, taking a company that does not specialize in being housing navigators, but has the sensitivity and understanding of working with folks with developmental disabilities. And over the years, they've really developed themselves and their competencies to be able to connect to so many different type of generic resources that are available throughout our area, and the creativity that it takes a lot of creativity to get 300 families housed. And we're talking about families because we're not just talking about a 25-year-old single male client or female client that's looking for housing. We've got children with developmental disabilities and their families. And so again, kudos. And if we can pass this around as an opportunity for folks, there's not a lot of forums and opportunities like this that are specialized for folks with developmental disabilities to really meet the needs. And again, this is for you as service providers, one of the biggest stakeholder issues that you bring to us is the housing challenges that you hear of from the clients that you serve across all the different types of agencies that you run. So thank you for that. Rhonda, maybe we need to check our calendars and make sure we can get over there at least for part of that day. On the 16th. I feel like I'm in town at that time. That would be awesome to go there for that. All right. We got an update. Many of you are aware, before we do this meeting with you all, we do a meeting with the accounting department and we go over updates and share information. Some of you may be awaiting a quality incentive payment for the entry into the provider directory. Wave 2 of those payments are supposed to come out on September 12th, and then the regional center has 90 days to issue those quality incentive payments. And just to share that, Robin mentioned, our accounting manager, that she, as she did last time with the first wave, will try to do it faster than the 90 days. But just letting folks know that that has been posted by the department, and I'm actually going to show you where it is posted by the department next, because we are going to get into kind of a lengthy rate reform update and standardized vendorization update here. Sent this out to my staff yesterday, and I'm going to share my screen with it. What I'd like to do is kind of go through the different information. This was released by, I think she's the Chief Deputy Director of DDS. And in it, this is public information that they've released specifically related to rate reform, and it's all in one place. Some of these things we've shared with you, and some of this information may be new to you, as we've got about 90 folks on right now. So as part of the Budget Act, the hold harmless was moved from June 30th to February 28th of 2026. Again, we don't have a very, very large number of hold harmless vendors. Many of them were in the transportation realm, and that's being addressed through some transportation rate adjustments that are going on. Additionally, they've updated the adult residential facilities for persons with special healthcare needs workbooks. Basically, these are residential facilities that have customizable rates, and both for these facilities and for our specialized residential facilities, the other ones that have customizable rates, the department's just looking at the kind of proposed cost that they thought those types of facilities have, and they're just re-looking at whether or not they built enough in to cover some of the expenses that these types of facilities have as they are implementing rate reform. So outside of saying our FFISHN has been updated, they are continuing to look at updating the other ones, which we're now calling our level 7 facilities. Any specific questions about that? We typically don't have a ton of you providers that do those facilities on this meeting. You guys know you can reach out directly to Jordan Eller. Toby's on here as well. If you guys have any questions, a lot of those are within that unit. The department soon will release it. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, sorry. Let me go to the transportation one I highlighted. Transportation rate model has been updated to reflect the current cost components. These updated rate models will be effective November 1st of 2025. The recording for the August 12th webinar that describes these updates is available on the Rate Reform Archive meeting webpage. I'll go to that webpage in a little bit. I know there's a number of transportation providers that are on here right now. I will just say I had an opportunity to peek at what some of the like lump sum retroactive reimbursements you guys are going to be getting, and many of you are looking at a significant payment that is going to be made to you with these retroactive payments. And so we will be issuing these. We're getting some of the final guidance down from the Department of Developmental Services. You guys can reach out certainly directly to Damian Koger, your community services specialist. If you have any questions about that, he'll be back. I think he's back today, actually. And the department will soon release a directive on excessive mileage reimbursement that will be used for early start therapeutic, specialized therapeutic services and respite to reimburse providers that travel over and above the mileage assumptions within the rate models. This new mileage reimbursement rate will be effective for billing November 1st of 2025. We do have some of you early start providers. I just got done doing vendor meetings with you this week with the school districts, with the 805 infant development programs. They are now going to allow us to add kind of a little bit of a multiplier to your mileage, because many of you have only 250 miles built into the work that your staff are supposed to be doing in a 40-hour work week. And we have providers that have stated that their staff drive more than that. What's new and different about this is, one, they've given us a date, which is November 1st. We still don't have the directive. We've been saying we're going to get a directive since January about this, but they did limit it specifically to early start therapeutic services and respite providers. I know that there was some discussion in the supported living services world about whether or not there should be more mileage possibly built into those rates or not. So we will wait and see what that directive looks like. Again, it seems like it's coming soon if it's going to be effective November 1st. We only have one transportation broker, and we will just say that they are looking at modifying the transportation broker rates, and we've been in contact with R&D Transportation about that. Exemption requests. I am told that we are still awaiting, I believe, 7 exemption requests for 3 different agencies. The rest of them have been sent out by the Department of Developmental Services. And as you can see, and I know that these ones that we submitted fall into this category, things like project search, employment type programs, one-to-one services, some social recreation stuff, some college support programs don't necessarily align with the new rate models. And so those exemption requests are still pending. I wanted to see if anyone had any questions about the rate reform update stuff before I jump into going over the new quality incentive information, because I don't know that folks are going to be super familiar with the quality incentive information, and it's important that you are aware and prepared and also understand how you can contribute to the process of developing these measures. So if you rewind history a little bit at the legislature approving the implementation of the rate study and giving you guys your updated rates, part of that was the legislature agreed to give a 90% of the rate increase, and then 10% was going to be tied to quality incentive measures developed by the Department of Developmental Services through a collaborative process. So what they have shared is what the new quality incentive requirements are going to be. Many of you remember what your quality incentive requirements were for last year, which was to log into the service provider directory and complete all of the steps that were in there. For this next year, the requirements to get the full 100% rate for your rate is going to be to participate in collecting data from eligible service providers. So data collected from eligible providers through surveys and will fall under 3 reporting measures related to provider capacity, preventative health and wellness, and employment. The data collected through these surveys will be used to support further program and measure development. By participating in these QIP data collection efforts, eligible service providers will earn the QIP portion of their rate effective July 1 of 2026 through July 30th of 2027. Service providers will also need to complete the requirements listed below to participate in the QIP and to earn the equality incentive portion of the rate model. So we have those specific things that are required. And again, those are going to be for specific service codes. And then there are general requirements across all service providers. So I'm just going to go through those real quickly. So the QIP provider incentives, the department will determine eligibility to participate in the data collection surveys based both on existing service providers with purchase of service authorizations for the QIP eligible service codes. And they're going to be filling those out. Additionally, existing providers must be registered in the provider directory by September 30th of 2025 to be included in the data collection activities for purposes of the survey distribution. So I believe, Michelle, we are pretty on top of making sure all of our providers are in the service provider directory. But if any of you have any questions about that, please try to verify your participation. Again, you're not participating in e-billing, probably because we've cut you off. So you should know that you are not in the directory. Okay, so requirements for provider eligibility. Beginning in fiscal year 26-27, service providers must be compliant with electronic visit verification, home and community-based services rules, and annual fiscal reviews and audit requirements to be eligible for the QIP component of rate models. This results from a new law enacted with the most recent state budget to receive the QIP portion of the rate starting July 1 of 2026. Service providers must be compliant with all of these requirements no later than February 26th, 2026. So we talked about that this morning. That looks like it gives the regional centers kind of a clock to verify all of these different areas for all of the vendors by February 26th of 2026, which sounds like it's far away. But when it comes to verifying all of these different things, it's relatively short. I know that Kylie worked diligently with a number of other staff from community services on EVV compliance recently, making sure that we were in contact with all of those providers. I know that we have developed some HCBS review that have gone on to ensure ongoing HCBS compliance. We know that many of you, when you were a vendor, you went through getting HCBS compliant. So you certainly don't need to worry about that upon vendorization if you're a new vendor. But it's just ensuring that you continue to be within those compliance. The annual fiscal reviews and audit requirements as well. And you have to be part of all of that. We're also working out some communication with our accounting department to find out which of the independent audits that you all have been doing, and making sure that we have that information available. Again, we are required to do biennial file reviews of your files anyways. And so it's just making sure that we have all of the data to be able to access that in order to verify it. And again, hopefully the department is going to give us a little bit more guidance so that we can start looking at how we verify that by February 26th of 2026. If any of this seems a little onerous, if it seems like it is a challenge, what's being put forth related to this, I just want to remind people that you have an opportunity to express your voice when it comes to doing the quality incentive measures. The next quality incentive work group by the department is going to be on February 15th. It's from 2 to 4 p.m. Additionally, for those that are doing the QIP employment access, employment capacity, the one-time incentive measure submission deadline has been extended to September 15th, which is coming up very, very soon. Only 2 weeks left. Employment service providers operating in QIP eligible service codes are encouraged to take advantage of that limited time incentive. If you have any questions about that, you're welcome to reach out to Carly. But at this point, I know we've put out significant communication already to those of you that are providing those services. Let's see. QIP one-time incentive payments are going to, and instructions are coming out to us. I mentioned a little bit earlier that Robin LeMay is going to try to get them done faster than 90 days, if at all possible. And this is the release date, and you can see that the next release date for the wave 2 of the provider directory is going to be September 12th. So this is the next chunk of money that the regional centers will get for you guys, and then we will be distributing it out based off of the list that we received from the Department of Developmental Services. Do we have any questions about that? Any questions about the quality incentive program? You guys all recognize that you are important voices when it comes to these things because they specifically apply to you and information that you need to provide to regional centers. It may have operational impacts on your, you know, funding. And so just encourage everyone to participate and be involved in these things. Okay, now I'm going to jump over to standardized vendorization. I did, oh gosh, probably about 5-6 weeks ago, I shared with folks the new 4 stages of vendorization. They are moving forward with the process of implementation for standardized vendorization. What that means is that starting in January, we're going to transition to using an online portal within the service provider directory to do all of your new vendorizations. So let's say, which vendor will I pick on right now? Was that SRE Transportation? Let's say they want to add on an aid service code 882 to their transportation vendorization or something like that. If someone wants to do that, moving forward, you'll be doing that through the new service provider directory. We'll be doing our communication with you through the service provider directory. Instead of your typical just emails with the regional center back and forth, you'll be able to keep track of your vendorization in process in real time. And so will the Department of Developmental Services. So again, there is a new process. There is going to be a directive that's put out related to that as well. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen because that was a lot of information from the Department of Developmental Services. Again, that's going to be available and updated on DDS's website for folks. I'm just going to jump into the chat real quick. Oh, thank you guys. I see your emails in there. All right, right on. And then let's see here. All right, the next thing that I want to jump to is, I was trying to see if I had possibly Laura Gorham on here, but if anyone is familiar, we do have this upcoming event, and maybe one of my staff, maybe Jordan can drop it into the chat because I think Jordan got the email as well. But this was presented by Laura Gorham. It's in El Dorado Hills. Kids with disabilities often find themselves sitting on the sidelines, but the triathlon is their time to shine. And so there's some specific information about it right here, how to participate in it. And then I'm hoping that my other one has the date. 1 second here. Jordan will put the one that has the date, I'm sure. Oh, there it is. There we go. It's going to be October 4th. Let me share that screen. There we go. So there's your QR code right there for those of you that just like to scan QR codes. And again, if we can get that in the chat, but this is one of another upcoming activity in El Dorado Hills. I don't think it's something that's made it onto our event calendar quite yet.
And I'll drop
All
that
right.
in just a second. I just have to download it really quick, John, to be able to put it in the chat. Just 1 second.
Excellent. Now everyone's just seeing that picture of our whole team of staff, aren't they? All right, 1 second here. Let me jump over to my calendars. Okay. So let's do DDS's calendar first, and we'll talk about some of these upcoming opportunities for you to participate in, and then we're going to get into some of the stuff that's going on at Alta as well. So first and foremost, we had at Alta, I guess it was a couple weeks ago when all of our EMT was gone. We did a LOIS in-person meeting at Alta California Regional Center. LOIS is the new computer system, life outcomes improvement system. Some of you have been involved in the past when CERMS, CERMS, was what the state was calling their new system that it's going to be replacing both the UFIS system, which is our fiscal system, and also the SANDIS system that we use for tracking case management. What the department is doing is they've had a bunch of public meetings related to this, and they're doing them in person. And then they're also doing vendor-specific meetings, so that based on the different type of services that you may have. So let's say I'm a residential service provider, and I really want in the LOIS system to have access to the client's IPP really quickly. So I make sure that I have it available. If the client's in my home, I've got that IPP like automatically, transmitted or automatically able to be pulled out of the system. That's kind of like the type of feedback that you may be able to give. Because that's what they want to know. They want to know what kind of information you also need, because the idea is that you as service providers are going to be able to log in and get information as well. And I think this is, hopefully going to make it a little bit easier for those of you that have questions about whether or not like a service has been authorized in a timely manner or not. In the past, we've done things like, oh, send me, a screenshot of, the screen before, to verify an authorization. The idea being now you'll be able to log in and get this information, a lot quicker. So just want to encourage folks. They're doing it across basically all the disciplines that they did directives for rate reform. That's kind of the breakdown of what they're doing for these meetings. And then again, they're doing more family town hall meetings too. They're doing a lowest meeting for transportation service providers. So they really are trying to do a lot of outreach as it relates to this. But I did want to mention as well, on DDS's website, you can also get these quality incentive program meeting invitations too. So any questions about the lowest, or any questions about the opportunities to participate in the DDS events? I will, just because we never know if I have new people that are on here or not. I do want to just reiterate, for you as service providers, a lot of the most recent information that we're covering related to the rate reform is located under that vendor tab and then under rate reform. And I just want to show this because we did have some vendor meetings this week, and there may have been some vendors that this was new to. But last year, they started doing meetings by service provider groups. So you can see these ones were back in December of last year, November of last year, and even earlier in some cases. But on these, they have both recordings where they talk about the changes that are going on for rate reform, but they also have the corresponding directives as well. So with that, they have this one for adult day services where they really get into this information. And what I will be sharing with you next is our events calendar, because we actually have our own meeting coming up shortly related to these as well. So you guys see our event calendar for Alta here right now? Yeah, thumbs up. Cool. So a few different things we have for those of you that work in the early start world. We do have the family outcomes survey that is needed to be completed by October 31st. So we've got a reminder there. We have our upcoming finance and executive committees. We always do those first, and then our board meetings at the end of the month. Michelle, can I throw it over to you to just talk about the behavioral day services vendor forum and the medical day services vendor forum?
Yeah, of course. So we will be having our two different vendor forms for our behavioral and our medical day services. We will be talking about just what it looks like for the new transition, for what the new service code requires as far as consultation and staff training. So we have an addendum that you'll be working on. Our team will be supporting you through that. So we're just going to be there to answer any other additional questions you guys have.
Again, ahead of that meeting, would encourage everyone to review the directive that specifically outlines, you guys can see that right now, I hope, that specifically outlines the requirements for the medical day services. And also a reminder that, we are going to be beginning the kind of quality assurance reviews in these cases beginning in January. So just want to encourage folks, when you're doing that, please check out the directive before you come to the meeting on that day. Excuse me. All right, upcoming additional meetings, our client advisory committee meeting. If you know of a self-advocate that is really interested in participating in meetings to provide advisement to the regional center, to the board, encourage folks to let clients know about our client advisory committee. We get a lot of really good feedback from our client advisory committee, and they have been and are instrumental in a lot of our activities that we do. And so again, just want you to encourage any clients that you may know to participate in the client advisory committee. And there is supports that they can receive to get there if they need it. Service coordinator can make arrangements for transportation and things as well to participate. The Provider Advisory Committee meeting, I know I saw Lindsay on here a little bit earlier. There's Lindsay. I don't know if we have anything special to plug. I believe there was going to be, I think we have the agenda, right? Is it already on here? Ooh, it
The
is.
agenda should be posted as of yesterday. Our meeting is next Thursday from 9:30 to 11:30, either virtual or at Alta. Yep, here's our meeting. One kind of cool thing is there will be a presentation about PAVE, which is one of the like QIP measure implementation items. I'm not explaining that well. And then another thing that is of note is, as you are pointing to, AB 1147 has a section of it that has to do with public records that affects vendors' records with the regional center, like our contracts and our program designs and things like that. So those are two things of note that affect us providers that you might want to come and learn about. And I'll put the info of how to join and where it is and all of that in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Lindsay. I guess this would be a very important area for you. For those of us that, have been, that are from the community services side of things, and even those, folks, the executive directors group and others, the impact of service providers has certainly been brought up when it relates to this, and to what extent information can and can't be shared. And so, again, encourage folks to participate in this. The feedback that you give us is going to be very important as we look at how we are operationalizing the implementation of AB 1147 at our regional center. And again, that makes regional centers subject to the Public Records Act. Additionally, just for those of you, I always encourage folks to be involved and understand what's going on at a state level when it comes to different types of legislation or looking at system reform opportunities. So these presentations, I think, yeah, CDSA and others. I know the CDSA conference is coming up pretty shortly as well. So again, just want to encourage people. It's important for service providers to be active in advising the regional center what to do, and the Provider Advisory Committee does a very good job of it. A representative from the Provider Advisory Committee and from the Client Advisory Committee sits on our board meetings for the board of our regional center as well. Again, we have a residential forum that's coming up as well. So encourage people to participate in that one. Aprendiendo Juntos is on here again. And if you don't speak Spanish, a benefit of our website is that you can go right here and hit translate real quick, and you can see it from English or Spanish to English. But just want to encourage people to check out our event calendar, these upcoming events. Again, Michael does an excellent job sharing with you about some of the activities that are going on here. This is an event for everyone. And so please come out and support our community. We have about 1,500 clients, last I was aware of, that were deaf or have lower hearing levels, according to our CDERS and the client diagnostic report. And so just want to encourage people again to support those activities. I will throw this over to Hubert, and or Michael, if you guys have anything to add about this one, take it away.
Cool. Thanks, John. Good morning, everyone. Just a simple reminder that on the 25th of this month, which is a Thursday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Alta will be hosting our first ever emergency resource fair. There will be having about 26 or so vendors, organizations, health and safety and emergency preparedness based organizations, kind of providing resources. Coincidentally, it is National Preparedness Month, so we are doing this in recognition of that. I know September is also Deaf Awareness Month too. So with that being said, we will have interpreters available. John's kind of showing the attendee sign-up sheet. So if you do plan on attending the event and you do have, accommodations such as requesting an ASL interpreter, resources in multiple languages. We will have that available, just depending on what vendors, you'll be interested in. So,
All right. Many of you really enjoyed attending our open house, the Micro Enterprise Fair. I cannot promise you that we'll be 102 degrees like when we did that. Hopefully it'll be a little
in
bit
the
cooler.
tent, open to all clients and staff. Yep. Yeah. So we
And
will
it,
have an indoor and outdoor space
yes,
as
it will
well.
be in our outdoor
So
space as well. So please encourage folks, if they do have accessibility needs, to also click and fill out this form too. Sorry. Go back here to my calendar.
And folks, it looks like John may have froze here, so we'll give him just a second to get logged back in. There we go, John, you're back in action.
That was awesome. We haven't had that one happen in
We
quite
have,
some time.
we had it.
Disregard the message I just sent to you guys that says my Zoom just died.
Okay,
right.
got it.
Let me share my screen one more time here. We had the pleasure yesterday of participating in our Disability Housing Alliance meeting, which is our group of faithful housing advocates that, again, really are supportive of a lot of our open houses, public testimony that we do. But one of the things that we discussed yesterday is this upcoming listening session for individuals with cerebral palsy. And one of the things that came out of our purchase of service data review was an acknowledgement that there has been a decrease in the overall funding for cerebral palsy. Kind of year over year, you can see cerebral palsy funding kind of going like that, and you can see autism funding going, trending up, year after year. And so this is a good opportunity for a listening session. And so I just want to encourage people to get the word out that this is going on. I was able to talk with someone recently that we were doing a listening session, and they have a sister who has cerebral palsy, and they're a family member that was thinking about one day that they might need to help take over providing support for their sister as the parents are aging. And so he was really happy because that's kind of a concern of his, and we shared, that we have this upcoming listening session going on as well. So again, we have a number of these, but wanted to encourage that. We also have an additional ILS vendor forum, and we got on here our neurodivergent costume party, and of course our self-determination advisory committee meetings too. The hope is, I believe, in the next couple of weeks that we can announce when we are having Santa Day. I don't know if we've got that nailed down completely, and I don't know if I have any Santa Day folks on here, but we are still nailing that down to my understanding, and so we'll give folks more information about that. I wanted to just close real quickly with you will be seeing in the upcoming month some changes to the DSP collaborative website. We all 7 Los Angeles County regional centers have entered into a contract with Marketing Works to expand. So the hope is that by the end of September, there will be a map of Los Angeles County here on this page, and it will have the 7 catchment areas for the regional centers located within there. Additionally, we've entered into an additional contract we entered into an additional contract with Marketing Works to enhance the search function. So once you are in this, if you're looking for a specific city, you may be able to do a more enhanced search. And also, as we build out the fields, as far as what kind of service you run, like are you a children's service for, was that the right one to click on? Maybe that wasn't the right one to click on. It'll indicate that in the search field right here. So we are working on that as well. And again, we're launching some of the activities with Los Angeles County. The goal then is, after we get the kickoff for Los Angeles County, which is going to be happening this year, that we're going to look at a statewide DSP collaborative kickoff as well. Any questions about DSP Collaborative? Any questions about our upcoming emergency resource fair? We want it to be packed. We would love to see as many clients there as possible. We'd love to have, we're not necessarily prepared for people to hang out all day. So I think we want to put a disclaimer there. We're really hoping that we can get people in and participating in it and then kind of get back out again too, kind of, because as you guys know, it can get a little flow of traffic can be tough with when we have a bunch of people in those rooms there. But again, we're really looking forward to it. Our staff participating, having so many community members show up and you as service providers too. All right. Stop sharing my screen there. And with that, I will just check in to see with my managers if we had anything else that we need to share today. I don't believe so. I know next week we're going to have a discussion with you all about the CRDP priorities. We're going to try to get them posted today to the best of our ability. No surprises for you all. Affordable housing is something that all of you ask about. Rhonda has, I think, 4 different proposals that we've received, maybe 5. 5 proposals that we've received. We've got 10 calendar days to figure out which of those ones we're going to put forth to the Department of Developmental Services this year. It's great having, these are the type of options. This is a good problem to be able to have all of these really qualified projects coming forth to us saying, we want to set aside, more housing units for folks with developmental disabilities. Alrighty, well, that's what we have for today, folks, and looking forward to meeting with folks next week. Have a great weekend, and hopefully we'll get that directive about the extra mileage. Maybe it'll actually come out. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend. Take good care. Bye-bye.